There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can change the focus to a soft blur or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to...
Check it out, yo! If any woman comes around trying to test me, if any woman comes around trying to test me, if any woman comes around trying to test me, if any woman comes around trying to test me.
How's everybody doing, and welcome to another edition of the GBA, Guilty by Association, the Joseph Cumia Show. Welcome. It's number 19. We had 18 and a half last week, and boy, wasn't that a hoot. It was fresh on the heels of the former radio team of Opie and Anthony's feud, or something like a feud. I only lasted a couple of days. Greg Shells and the Human Garbage going at it. Sounded like a bad wrestling match. In this Greg Shells, in this corner, in this corner, the Human Garbage. Well, let's watch them fight. Well, that's over with. I don't think either one of them are going to be talking about it too much anymore. It was fun while it lasted, but folks, it's over. So let's just get on with what we're doing here today. I decided to jump right in. We're going to jump right in. Jump right in. Here we go. There's a thing going on that it's been going on for a while, actually. Infomercials, late night infomercials. I find myself laying there on my back with my eyes wide open at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 in the morning, doing nothing because I don't work a day job. So I sit there and I watch these stupid infomercials. Some of the ones that kill me are, well, there's always the magic bullet with all the characters that they come up with. They have the lady with the cigarette hanging out of her mouth, the old gritty woman with the cigarette hanging out of her mouth. Oh, I don't like broccoli. And then the regular guy who's kind of gay. But I don't think they meant him to be. I think he's just that way naturally, and it came across. Then you got the jock, all these characters, and they comment on some guy that speaks with an English accent and throws all kinds of shit into the magic bullet. That's one of the most annoying commercials of all time, infomercials of all time. But I'm not only talking about the long infomercials. How about Hair Club for Men? We have, we'll bring this up. We'll put this on the screen. Here we go. Hair Club for Men. What they tend to do, and what a lot of these infomercials tend to do, is they'll show you a guy with a bald head. That's right there. Bald head. And he's all pissed off. Look. See? Look at the mouthful area. He's all pissed off. He doesn't look like a happy camper. Why? Because he's got that fryer hairdo going on. He should just shave it. And then, the after picture is the same dude looking like 20 years younger. He's got his pearly whites showing, smiling. His eyes are all happy. I guess he's all happy because he's got hair. Yeah? You think? Yeah, maybe he's got a girl under the desk. Whatever the case may be, that is an advertising ploy, ladies and gentlemen. It's used all the time. And I can show you another example right here. This guy. Pretty much the same deal. The guy with hair and without hair. Without hair, he looks like he just got hit with a divorce, or he's like, or he's a cuck looking on while his wife is fucking some guy. And his beard is really white, and the background is white, and he just looks miserable. His eyes look sad. He's got his mouth closed. He's like tight-lipped, and then the after picture, he's got his full head of Kenny Rogers hair, and smiling Irish eyes. Irish eyes are smiling. And it looks like he took a little bit of Grecian formula to his beard and mustache. And the entire background has the soft focus. He's wearing a nice collared shirt. Not that shirt looks like he just fucking got done digging ditches. So that, again, ladies and gentlemen, a ploy to get you to grab up and, and purchase the product that's being sold. There are other products like, here you go. A girdle. It's a girdle. I probably could have picked something a little more this century, but the woman, if you take a look here, the woman is actually accentuating the bunt area by placing her hands so low on her hips. She's bundling the bunt. No bunt buffer. And her figure really looks like shit. She looks like 2 figure eights. You know what I mean? You got one here, and you got another one right there. The thighs go out. And then after putting on this girdle, it flattens the whole thing out. But what you don't realize, they think you don't realize it consciously, like it's supposed to be a subconscious thing, is that this photo here is dark. It's a dark photo, and I mean that figuratively and literally. She's got dark circles under her eyes. The lighting is horrible. Her hair is flat and gross, and it actually looks like the entire photo has been darkened a bit. She puts on the girdle, and all of a sudden, she's got a little bit of bra strap showing there. She's got a big smile on her face. Look, her hair is a little nicer. The whole picture is a little brighter, and her hands aren't pulling in on the bunt area there. So these are all techniques used by look at this guy. Okay, I'm fat, I'm gross. Look at me. Looking at you straight on. I look like I got a fucking big ass gut. And look at this. Hey, you want to see my cock? Look at him. He's proud now. You want to see my cock? It's right down there. You want to see it? I'm smiling. See? He's got a big smile. His teeth are showing. He's, sucking it in. He's from the side, so you can't see if it's still bulging out over there, like over there and there. But he's wearing, pants that are a couple of sizes too big for him. So this is what they do, folks. They advertise something that they think is going to be a tremendous hit. I have a little bit of videotape I'm going to roll for you. Videotape. The fuck is that? I'm going up on YouTube, and I'm going to bring this next thing up. All right, so it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, I guess, and I'm laying there wide awake, and something comes on TV that just caught my eye. It's this thing about having these pants that are supposed to make an unshapely woman suddenly shapely. So let's take a quick look at what these things claim to do.
Is it always this tough to get into your jeans? And once you get them on, you end up with an ugly muffin top and a flattened rear? Let's face it, jeans just seem to be made only for skinny women.
Wait a minute. A what? A flattened rear. You end up with an ugly muffin top. Ew. And?
Face it.
And what? What did she say? An ugly muffin top and...
Ugly muffin top and a flattened rear.
And 4 fingers up your ass. And a flattened rear. I don't see how tight pants are going to help that. The ugly muffin top and flattened rear. But let's see.
Let's face it. Jeans just seem to be made only for...
Oh. She looks like an old bar rag. Smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day and having her gin at 2 o'clock. I don't drink before 2.
Look at her.
Skinny women. And we all know leggings are in, but they expose every flaw on your body.
Did you hear that? I. When she grabbed her ass, it was I.
Body. Now you can be fat.
Okay, what happened? What happened there? I missed something. Was that the fat girl that put that on? Was that the girl with the ass that makes the Bugs Bunny sound? Wait a minute.
Expose every flaw on your body. Now you can be fashionable, slim, and...
No, that's not the same girl. Not even close. Look, does she look like she needs jeggings to take care of that ass? Or the rest of her, for that matter. Looks like she might need jeggings over her head, but everything else seems okay.
And sexy, all at the same time, with the fantastic Comfort Tee Slimming Jeggings. The Ultra...
Even that, come on. She looks like a Barbie. She's got a thin waist. She's got an ass. And it doesn't look like she needs these jeggings. I think if she was wearing a pair of Levi's, she'd look just fine.
Stylish leggings that look like designer jeans.
They're models. These are models.
And give you the benefits of a beautiful, shapely body. The secret to their effectiveness is the material. Comfort Tee Slimming Jeggings are made of a special blend of...
Even her. The one with the camel toe there. Gucci, 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 Gucci. Even her, I mean, her hips are a little on the wide side, but shit, she looks pretty good, right? She doesn't have big, fat belly and stuff. I don't think it's actually the jeggings that are doing the job. I think maybe these girls are exercising a little bit, taking care of themselves.
Euro Slim fabric.
Then again, I could be wrong.
Regular jeans can be hard to get into. Give you all sorts.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Wait a minute. Let's zoom in.
Sorts of bulges.
Okay, we missed that. Hold on. I'm going back.
One garment. Regular jeans can be hard to get into. Give you all sorts.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. What is this thing? What is this that they left in on a national TV commercial? And it looks like she's wearing, like 2 sizes too small in the waist, right? She's got that mushy, ugh.
Oh, and look, I'm married, so don't get any ideas.
She's just pretty fucking nasty. And they're using horrible lighting. It looks like they got... like they're accentuating the cottage cheese under a stretched piece of plastic wrap look that she has going on right there. And that is just entirely unnecessary. You can see it's like the fucking the button here is like ready to, the button's going any second. And they're regular old Levi's. So not that she would look good anyway. I don't care what the fuck you put this one in, including slimming jeggings. That's just not going to look good. Aside from that, it's kind of false advertising. You get that shit home. She's covering all that crap up. And you get that home and peel those jeggings off. And that comes flopping out like so much fucking fat. Like a goddamn 80 pounds of fat stuffed into a fucking 20-pound bag. You're going to know that that was false advertising. Is what it was.
Sorts of bulges.
Ah.
Make your buns.
Make your buns what? She's got none, first of all. Second of all, she, I don't care what you do with that ass. It's not looking good.
Shape of bulges. Make your buns.
Look, right up here. She's got some, I don't know, man. She might have some liver problems or something.
Drinking too much gin at the bar.
Look at this one's face. Wait a second. I gotta zoom in on. How am I gonna zoom in on that? I can't. I don't think I can zoom in anymore. But look at her face. Yeah, I'm fat. I got a nasty belly. I don't look so good. And what is she, like in her early 30s? She's got a baby. She's what my brother and I used to call a flatso. She's got no tits and she's got a big fat belly. But I put on my Jeggings Slimming jeans and I am sexy.
No, you're not.
No matter what your body shape, any size waist, any size hips, any size.
Any size? I don't think so. Try these on. These will help. Slimming jeggings. Eat a carrot. Have a fucking a bowl of soup for dinner. These people buying clothes to camouflage their imperfections. Hey, look, I'm not in the best of shape, but holy shit. You let it get to the point where you have to start buying clothes to alter how much fat it looks like you have. She looks like the girl everybody fucked in high school. Especially when she got drunk, because she just fucked everybody, right? I wouldn't know anything about that, though.
And mold to your figure, because they stretch on you.
When I put on my own jeans, I end up with this
Holy shit, it's Roberta Gonzalez. Everybody did fuck her in high school. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And that's not so bad if you look at her, right? She's young, first of all. She's youthful. She's young. And she's in fairly good shape. She's got a bit of an ass on her, but that's just her natural body shape, I think. It's not horrible, though. You just fucking pull those leggings up a little bit, and they look pretty good, I think. What do you say, fellas?
But they unsightly cellulite shows right through. And with no support, saggy areas stay saggy.
Whoa. She shouldn't be wearing those. You're not going to put it in my ass. Look at her. She's got Depends undergarments on. She's
stay.
See? It's either that or a giant Kotex. A giant pad.
I have a heavy flow.
That's just disgusting. That really does look nasty. She'd be much better off without those on. I think that would look kind of nice, kind of good, if she didn't have this shit going on, the underwear showing through. Right? Am I right or wrong?
Saggy. Comfort Tee Slimming Jeggings hide cellulite and make everything look like.
That was an ass that went bam. An ass went bam.
It's in the right place thanks to its body-shaping dual-layer fabric and push-up technology. It has an extra wide support band that visually tucks your tummy and trims your waist. And no more waistband peekaboos.
That's too bad. I kind of like the waistband peekaboo. They call that the whale's tail, don't they? It's a whale's tail. Hello! Hello!
Impression that
What the hell was she doing? What is she even doing? She shouldn't even be in this commercial. Stop it. Look.
No uncomfortable seams. Panty line.
I'm going to stop it right here because, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks. They're trying to sell these jeggings to fat girls that, even if they put them on, it's not going to do that much good. But they make it seem like if they put them on, they're going to look like this. Like they're going to look like this. Gucci, Gucci, Goo. Like they're going to look like her. And you know what? I have a secret. You're not. You're never going to look like her. If you look like... Hold on. If you look like her, you will never look like her or her or her or even her. Look, man.
Squeeze into them.
And
No
you'll definitely
uncomfortable
never look like
seams. Panty line.
her. So, you know, honesty in advertising. That's all I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm holding here in my hands, folks? It's a secret to a bigger, thicker, longer cock. That's right. Paying the bills, ladies and gentlemen. Paying the bills. It's the Hydromax Bathmate Penis Pump. It's not a masturbatory tool. You don't jerk off with it. Well, you kind of do, but it doesn't do anything other than create suction. That's right. That's why they call it a pump, because it creates suction around the old Willie Johnson. And it's an exercise tool. Listen, for your tool. And if you use this just 15 minutes a day, you too can have a cock like Mandingo. That's right. You will fill this baby up. Not just the clear part, but from here. Ever dream of a career in porno? HydromaxBathBait.com. Ever want to satisfy your woman to the point she's screaming bloody fucking murder? HydromaxBathmate.com. Did you ever just want to have your junk swinging down between your thighs and the head slapping your knees? HydromaxBathmate.com. The patented vacuum action penis pump. And you know what happens? Once you create that suction, it's got, watch, you don't have to bloody your dick to get it off. To get the penis pump off. Watch, you do this. You hit the little release, and it releases the vacuum like magic. So don't forget, go today. Also makes a very funny mask for Halloween. HydromaxBathmate.com. The patented penis pump. And you know, once you're done with that, you can go right off and check out my other sponsor, the Private Gym. That's right, the Private Gym. It's exercise for the pelvic muscles. That muscle in there where you kind of tighten your bung and it makes your... You know what I'm talking about. It's what you used to do when you were a kid. Watch, I have it in miniature. Here you go. Bath towel. Erect penis. Watch this, watch. Remember doing this when you were a kid with a bath towel on your cock? Remember that? Well, that's what you do with this. The Private Gym. PrivateGym.com. Go there, order today, and get working out those muscles that don't get all that much workout time. Know what I mean? PrivateGym.com. Exercise is the Kegel. So, you get yourself a little spinner, you'd be able to hold her up with no hands at all. Picture that. That's about it. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you. Thank you. I'm still waiting. It's been about an hour. So I'll entertain you in the meantime, I got. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Aqualung, my friend. Don't you start away uneasy. You poor old sod, you see it's only me. Hello, Ann.
Hey, it's Ann for Joseph.
Hi, it's Joseph. How are you doing?
I'm fine. So can we reschedule for sure the first day of April, please?
April 1st, as in April Fools. That's fine, yeah.
Yes, and Ian apologizes. He got held over in the studio, and he need not apologize. I had I had a whole bunch of surprises set up for him. So April 1, I'll be even more prepared. It'll be awesome. I'm proud of you. It'll be a half hour tops.
Yeah, that's fine.
You guys will rock it.
We could jam. Aqualung, my friend, don't you start away uneasy. I know a ton of Jethro Tull.
I know that song.
You've heard it once or twice, huh?
Uh-huh.
We'll have fun. It'll be a blast. Are we doing this at noon?
It will be noon.
Awesome. Very good. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks so much for the call, Ann.
Thank you for keeping it. I honestly thought he had called and said he was running late.
Oh, it's
So
all good. It's okay.
Oh, good.
I have.
I'm proud of you.
I'm actually pretty proud of me.
I have to call the 12:30. Oh my God. So I'm going to call the 12. I'm going to call my 12:30 interview now. So.
Great.
Yeah.
I have something else for you here. Listen.
Oh no, you're bad.
A little cross-eyed Mary. I'm a huge fan. It will be a blast. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, it will be.
Thanks again, Ann.
You too. You're welcome.
Okay, have a great day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'd like to apologize to you guys in advance. The very beginning of my interview with Ian Anderson was clipped. I'm a fanboy, so I was taken a little bit by surprise having one of my lifelong musical heroes in front of me via Skype, and I forgot to hit record. That happens sometimes. You become a little bit involved in staring at them like a mental patient. So we pick up the interview after introductions were made, pretty much there. And I did ask him about how Jethro Tull came to be a progressive rock band, considering they started out as a blues rock band, playing mostly 12-bar blues. And the rest of the interview went like this. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Getting noticed and developing some basic skills as a musician playing essentially 12-bar blues. But by the time we'd been doing that for about 6 months, taking us into the summer of 1968, I'd started to write the music that became the material for the second album, Stand Up, which was released in 1969. And that music was venturing into areas of influences that came from classical music and from folk music, from a little bit of jazz, but also, I suppose, world music. I was listening to the folk music of other countries too. So all of that began to sneak in summer of 68, and quite clearly our guitar player at that time, Mick Abrahams, was not really that interested in stepping out of the world of very strongly blues-based music. So that led us to find another guitar player, which we did in January of 1969 when Martin Barr joined the band.
A huge influence on my playing, by the way.
Well, I'm sure he'd be very pleased to hear that, and he's out and about. So, in fact, I was just reminding myself while I was out earlier to check out his website and see what concert tours he's got planned for this year, because he was very busy last year, and I know had a great time.
Would that be martinbarr.com?
Martinbarr.com is where you can find all of that, yes. And if he's as busy this year as he was last year, he's getting around quite a bit. I'm not sure that he's ever had any definite plans to go to the USA, but certainly he's been out and about around Europe, doing lots of concerts in different countries.
I may end up taking a trip over to the UK just to see some of my favorite musicians that don't make it over here very much anymore. You know.
Well, there is a reason. There is a reason for that. Unless you're particularly well heeled and you have all the apparatus in place in terms of accountancy and legal advice and taxation advice, and you can get a US work permit visas to be a working musician, it's not that easy to come and be a performer in America if you've not got money behind you, organization, and probably a lot of experience, i.e. you've done it before, so you know how to make things work. So for a lot of young bands who would love to come and play in the USA, it's just made very, very difficult for them to do that. Now, the reciprocal is also the case. I think for a lot of young US musicians, it ain't that easy to come here and get permission to work and to get paid, and you have to sort out your tax affairs.
On a much smaller scale, I do understand that on a much smaller scale. I mean, we've done. I play with a U2 show. I play the Edge in a U2 show, and we've been over to Europe several times. We were actually in the Middle East not too long ago, Abu Dhabi, UAE, doing we did a corporate show over there, and the visas and the red tape involved is quite overwhelming. If it wasn't for the for the people that helped us out, agencies and whatnot, getting over there, I do understand everything that's involved. And with a show the size and scope of a band of your stature, it's got to be an almost insurmountable problem, actually problematic getting over here. I mean. And I do remember from the time I was in high school, you guys put on some tremendous shows. I mean, back in the late '70s, early '80s, I used to go see Jethro Tull at the Nassau Coliseum here on Long Island, and some of those shows, if you remember, were just, you had a tremendous stronghold here on Long Island. I don't know if is that something that comes to mind when reminded, particular places that you were actually very, very popular, and the crowds were overwhelmingly receptive to your shows. Was Long Island one of those places for you?
Well, the New York area generally was the starting off point for us, as indeed it has been for many British bands starting their musical careers in the USA. I suppose partly geographically, because it's, along with Boston, the first logical jumping off point if you've come from Europe. But also, I think there is a long history of attachment to British and European bands in New York and on the East Coast generally. So I think it's probably true to say that with all the plethora of venues that happily many of them are still around in Long Island and New Jersey and of course on Manhattan, that there's a lot of places where you have quite legendary and iconic venues that are part of our history and still part of the history of young bands starting up today and making it. To play at the Beacon Theatre is probably a bit of a dream for a lot of people. It's just another large, rather decaying theatre of relatively basic standards backstage, it has to be said, but it's it's an iconic venue, and one that interestingly the Stones chose to play in when they were recording a DVD of their performances, and it has that reputation, quite rightly deserved, of being rather like Hammersmith Odeon, or Hammersmith Apollo as it's called these days, in London. You know, a large Art Deco era theatre, which is very much part of the history of rock music.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Yeah, I'm looking over. I'm going through your wiki here, and I'm looking over the albums that you've released in the past 40-something years. 30 studio albums.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of music, about 300 songs that I've written over the years, all of which I have revisited recently, and not only because of remastering and the 5.1 surround remixes that my friend Stephen Wilson has been doing of music from mainly from the 70s, but also because of visiting all of the lyrics again with a view to retranscribing them and editing them and getting them into a neat and tidy form. That's been, you know, quite a heartening job, really, to examine things that in some ways I was a little afraid to look at, because some of that stuff from particularly early on I thought I might find rather difficult to read and be, you know, a little embarrassed about here and there. But most of it pretty much hangs in as being, I suppose, okay. It's either good or it's just about okay.
You're always your own worst critic, and from my standpoint, as you know, as a fan, I can't think of one instance of embarrassment, or I mean, it's almost, it made me laugh. Everything was masterfully crafted. Sorry, I mean,
that is unusual, because most of the fans would find it very easy to find lots of things they find embarrassing or below standard, not just from us, but from all of the musical bands and artists that they support. I mean, people are pretty critical, especially in the age of social media. That criticism becomes very loud and graffiti-like,
very public, yeah,
and often, you know, extremely vulgar, coarse, and occasionally unpleasant. But you know, people have.
Are you actually you're subject to such ridicule by these skells? Is that actually does that happen?
Oh, it happens to me. It happens to everybody that I know. It doesn't bother me that people say things about me, but it bothers me when they say it about my friends, about my musicians in the band. I don't like to read harsh words about them, because in a way they perhaps are more likely to take it to heart or be upset by it. But you know, there are always those trolls who inhabit chat rooms and fan sites that just seem to get a kick out of annoying people.
So it seems like you never really let technology slip by you. As a lot of people our age, and I say our age, I'm 55. A lot of people even in my age group allowed technology to pass them by. It seems as though you've stayed on top of everything, to the point where, you know, you're familiar, obviously, with podcasting, and you're capable of Skyping into a podcaster's show, which I thank you for. Was there ever a time where you felt like you were falling behind the curve with regard to technology, regarding musical technology moving forward? I'm a fan of Line 6 Variax.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Not endorsed yet, but I'm looking forward to it one day. Technology such as that, regarding instruments and recording technology. You do have a recording studio. I meant to ask you. Feeling like a dead duck. Do you run digital gear, such as like let's say, Mac, a Mac platform, and record digitally, or do you actually have like an old school Neve console with with some kind of monstrous Midas board? How do you record these days?
Well, there's a whole lot of questions you just asked there.
I did. I'm trying to get them all in a half hour. Ian.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
As yet another one occurred to you, you added that to the collection. Well, I mean, technology is something that's been developing ever since I've been a musician, and I was born into an age where the Fender guitar, the Hammond organ, and the the rock drum kits were the tools of the trade back in the from the 50s and 60s. But I suppose that by the time Jethro Tull was becoming very well known in the early 70s, then there was a new technology afoot, which of course turned out to be the early synthesizers, the Moog synthesizers and various imitators and Japanese clones and developments that sprung up during the 70s, which we tried to make use of. But people probably don't know, but on Thick as a Brick in 1972, apart from synthesizers, that were very primitive synthesizers in those days, I also had built for me a device which would allow my flute to essentially generate a synthesizer sound. So I could make the flute sound like a really cheap and nasty synthesizer. Why would I do that, you ask? Well, it was part of technology to develop ways of triggering sounds, whether it's with a guitar or a keyboard, or in my case, a flute, that were analog synthesis. And so that appeared on Thick as a Brick for the first time, just in a little way. I mean, I wasn't going to make it a huge, big part of any record. But it developed through the years, and by the time we got to digital technology, which first appeared in the 70s in the form of processors, of digital delay units, and then went from there on into more sophisticated processors and reverb and double tracking and pitch conversion, and finally we saw the advent of digital technology in terms of sampling and sequencing in the early part of the 80s. So by 83, 84, we had a whole new world upon us, which was beginning to be matched with the generation of digital recording multi-track techniques, which were very, very expensive to begin with and very unreliable, but it all came on stream. So I moved with those times as necessary to try and incorporate some of those technologies into music, but hopefully without losing sight of the fact there's a bunch of guys standing together in the studio playing music, and that's still how we record mostly today, in real time playing together, as we did just over a week ago when we were doing setting up all the essentially sophisticated demo tracks of new material and new arrangements of old material. So we stood in a room together and we recorded. In fact, all of that is right on the screen of my computer right now, in the shape of a Logic multi-track project, because I work with Mac and the Mac proprietary software for recording called Logic, in this case Logic 10. And
you upgraded to 10, did you?
Well, we did that actually. We did that a year ago. I mean, within a week of it coming out, we
Wow.
made the decision to record the last album on the new Mac platform because it was relatively a small step from Logic 9, and not one that we anticipated having problems with. And indeed, it behaved flawlessly. The only problems I haven't had any problems with Logic 10 or indeed the previous generations of Mac operating systems, but there are some reports of the latest Mac operating system not always working perfectly with Logic. But these things catch up, and most of us who do it professionally are rather slow to incorporate new software. We tend to make sure the bugs are ironed out before we entrust our multi-track sessions to it.
Yeah, I still run 9. I'd been put off by 10 by believe it or not, message boards and trolls thereabout. We had a couple of issues, and I decided to stay with 9 for a little while. But it's an amazing difference. The entire recording process. When you get down to it. Recording non-linearly and digitally as digital recording allows you to do, it's amazing. Cut paste is just I remember actually physically cutting tape back in the day, in 24-track Neve console, and having somebody have to cut masters to fix things, And it's just not that way anymore. It makes things so much easier to deal with, and much more pleasurable, I think, to
Well,
record.
if you have a razor blade and some 2-inch multi-track tape, you can't press edit undo when you
That's true.
when you get it in the wrong place. So, yes,
Very
it's
true.
But on the other hand, it does instill a certain care and attention and also the sense that you make decisions as you go along. I mean, one of the things I don't like about digital recording is the fact that it's very easy to simply keep your options open.
Mm-hmm.
And more options open, and more options open, and then when you come
That
to try
becomes-
and
yeah,
make something of what you've got, you spend forever trying to sort out what is the best take of several tracks of vocal or guitar or bass. Or whatever.
Having a plethora of guitar sounds available to you at any given time is usually my, that's my demon. I'll record something and not have to, commit to a sound. At that point, it's like, how many different sounds or presets are you going to try to see what'll sit right in the track? It kind of does take away from the performance, I would imagine,
Well, I think writing and arranging the music is the time when you can incorporate the actual sonic qualities you're looking for. That's the time to. It's the time to. That's the time to experiment and try different ideas. But it's a good idea to have that kind of put to bed. At least you know pretty much the kind of sounds you're working with and the kind of settings you're going to use. So when you come to record, hopefully you're not going to completely change your mind and try it in many different ways. That's just going to take so long. Mm-hmm. And if you're paying people a lot of money to be where you want them to do the job you need to get done, then you have to have a plan. You've got to be working to a schedule, and sooner or later, somebody has to jump on a plane and go somewhere else. So you've got to get it done before they have to leave for the airport. And that's a schedule that I'm used to working with. And I have to say I prefer a little pressure to actually be creative within a finite time scale. And, I can think of a lot of times when we did waste time by rehearsing and writing music in the recording studio. What a dummy thing to do. It's about £1,000 a day or something. That wasn't a very clever thing to be doing.
Not at all. That's something that you do when you're, as they say, wood shedding. Question, non-related, non-music related. How did you like the finale of The Walking Dead? You have a connection there, I hear. I just.
Well, yeah. I'm afraid I'm way behind watching The Walking Dead.
So I won't give anything away.
No, don't. It's I have a lot of recorded episodes to watch, but I'm still trying to catch up with a few other things at the moment that are also worth watching on television, because it is the medium these days of great drama shows, and I am. I enjoy watching Breaking Bad, which I caught up on last year.
I almost thought that series would ruin me for serial television.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Well, now you have Better Call Saul, so I'm about 2 or 3 episodes behind on that one. And when I get round to watching my son-in-law in The Walking Dead, it'll be only when I've caught up with Better Call Saul and 1 or 2 other series. Which
a lot of people don't realize that, and I only found this out recently, that Andrew Lincoln is actually your son-in-law.
That's right. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean,
he's been that way for 8 years now.
Into this very fierce, dark, and brutal place.
This is all about us doing this quiet, keeping the upper hand.
How do you guys get along?
We get along fine. It's part of the family thing. He was sitting here a week ago, exactly where I'm sitting, plugged into a microphone, same one as I'm using here, and doing a voiceover for some movie, which she's involved in the production of. Mm-hmm. So we kind of keep it all in the family. He's not a stranger to our home. It would be unusual if he was, because he only lives about 10 minutes away. So our grandchildren are likely to be seen 2 or 3 times a week.
It's a funny thing when you first, obviously, when you first hear a gentleman that's been putting himself out there as a Southerner, as a Southern, American, to come on a show, and all of a sudden there's this thick British accent. It's like, something that takes you by surprise. I've been a fan of that show for since season 1. I watch it every week. As you were saying, shows like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, these shows have become, I don't know, I mean, if it's something that you're into talking about, they've become almost they have the production value of what major motion pictures used to have.
Well, again, we're talking about technology and the fact that you can endow that kind of entertainment with the same cinematic values and production qualities of a feature film for a fraction of the price. But I think it's true to say that most people working on series, I mean, they work very, very hard and very, very long hours. I mean, the pressure is really on. So that you've got a team of dedicated people working together with the benefits of modern technology, old-fashioned technology, and old-fashioned plain, very hard work. But, my son-in-law does the accent. He doesn't talk that way, obviously, when he's doing voiceovers for National Geographic or the Discovery Channel or whatever else he might do. He speaks with something more resembling his own natural voice. But he is a paid actor. So when you say, how do you guys get on? I would have to say, well, I think we get on okay, but he is an actor. Maybe he's just trying to let me know.
Humoring you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have to be careful.
I can't see that as being anywhere near the truth. My problem is, you see, the only time I can actually put on an English accent is when I'm playing. The armies up the road, Salvation Island boat, and a cup of tea. Aqualung, my friend, don't you start away uneasy. For outside, you see it's only me. I'm actually thinking about starting a Jethro Tull tribute band. Would I have your blessing, Ian?
Yeah, you would.
Feeling like a dead duck.
You had the
feeling like a dead duck.
You had some of the vowel sounds there of a more English pronunciation, but when you said the word sod, you said sad, and I have to pick up people on things like that. But it seems to be a given that when you have certain vowel sounds, you sing them the American way, and British pop and rock singers have been doing that for years. I kind of like the ones who use something rather more like their own voices, and I'm always first to tip my hat toward David Bowie, who sings, generally speaking, in something a little closer to his own natural English roots, rather than folks like Elton John and Mick Jagger and Rod Stewart, who sing in these really quite preposterous American accents that have nothing whatsoever to do with their speaking voice. But, I kind of feel you should have a little bit of personality in your singing and not just be a slave to what other people have done and the way other people sing it.
And conversely, you have a Joey Ramone, rest in peace, that used to try to put on an English accent when he was, so obviously from New York.
Yes, he was a nice young man. I met him once, and he was very shy and slightly embarrassed kind of guy, a bit awkward, but lived all too short a life.
Another hero of mine. Yeah. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, Ian. It's an absolute honor to have you.
Well, it's a pleasure.
I appreciate well, actually, I'd like to plug anything that you would like to plug. Let's get started on some JETHROTULL.com is the first, correct?
Well, that's the website. Been there for a long time, since I managed to get the name back from an entrepreneurial creep who had registered the name and was using it as a gateway to a hardcore porn site. So indeed, I think along with Julia Roberts, I was the first person ever to win back the rights to a website name through the courts, and cost me a lot of money in legal fees. Cost me, strangely, almost exactly the same amount in legal fees as the guy was willing to sell me the name for in the first place. But it was a moral victory that had to be fought. But if somebody gets there first and registers the name, well, I suppose fair cop. They've had the sense and forward thinking to do it. But it was the point that he was actually using it as a gateway, along with a whole bunch of other .coms which he got. To be a hardcore porn site. So when you've got young fans learning to play the flute, and they go to JETHROTULL.com, and
they say the flute's not supposed to be used that way.
Yeah, exactly that.
Awesome.
So shut up! I was a little put out by it. But anyway, yes, JETHROTULL.com, IanAnderson.com takes you to the same place. Everything you need to know about Jethro Tull and Ian Anderson, and shows coming up this year. And we will, just after Easter, we will announce the US dates. So that will be on our website, and indeed in the hands of anybody who cares to know. Of course, I'm looking over here. I can see exactly where they are. In fact, you mentioned we're playing in
Long Island.
Well, we're playing in Brooklyn actually this year, and Port Chester, in Newark.
Very nice.
Are the New York area shows that we have lined up for the first couple of weeks of November.
First couple of weeks in November, I will definitely plug it as it gets closer.
Brilliant. Very nice to talk to you, and I shall get back to my musical work here.
Go to work. That's what you do best. That's what you do best.
Good to talk to you. Take care. Thank you.
Take care, buddy. Take care.
Bye.
Bye now. So there you have it, folks. My interview with Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull. It was an absolute thrill for me because I've been a lifelong fan. And to have him on this little podcast program was quite the coup. We never expected anything like that to happen. Not this soon, anyway. Glad to see that everything's going well. We have next week Ron Bumblefoot Thal from Guns N' Roses, so be sure to tune in for that. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. My name is Joseph Cumia. This is Guilty by Association. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, guys.
We now return control of your television set to you until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to